Hello, YouTubers. Joe Kersey here or on Thursday, October 12th, 2017. Yes, Columbus Day. That destroyer of worlds, that politically incorrect so-and-so that had the temerity to set sail in three really tiny ass wooden ships that were square rigged that could barely, don't even think about sailing against the wind without going. I don't know how the hell he got back, but he did get back, and three of them. I guess he lost one of them. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that was a subsequent voyage. Well, in his last voyage, they brought him back in chains because the government got pissed at him. Let those with ears who are in favor of the government hear. Whither the wind bloweth, thou knowest not at the start of thy journey and thy adventures. Feather thy nest while thou can. Which I guess he did, but all these guys did. The conquistadores. Bring that small box to the Western Hemisphere. That'll thin those herds of aborigines. Use those send those infected blankets out as gifts. That'll do it. Rub that blanket over those pustules and send them out among the people as gifts of, oh, we come in peace. Yeah, well, we do. Yeah, we do. After we've killed half your population with our own diseases that we generally have a fairly high degree of immunity to. Now, for those of you who are social media folks, you can't tell tone from this. You can't, I want to state equivocally, no, I am not advocating genocidal germ warfare against, populations. I'm merely recounting what happened when the white man, if you will, came to that part of the Western Hemisphere. I didn't say first came because the Vikings were here far earlier, far to the north. But it's not politically correct to talk about that. So, as far as I know, they didn't do much at all except build a couple of villages and stay for a while and buggered off. Well, by the grace of God, I got home okay. I'm not even going to go in to the tale of woe and lament about Newark Airport. Newark Airport. Those of you who are traveling, at all costs, avoid traveling through Newark/New York Airport. First of all, you'll have to go from a terminal and leave the secure area and go to another terminal and have to go through security screening again. And if you, like me, could not find the train, the much vaunted, oh, you can take a train between terminals. No. It's about a half-mile walk between Terminal B and Terminal A, which is okay. I mean, I needed the exercise. That's not an issue. I mean, if it was raining, I had the appropriate attire. It wouldn't have been a real big deal, except that, Don't beguile me with tales of this train that makes it so easy to go between terminals. I'm sure it must be there. Some people see what I didn't want to do was get on this train and then end up finding myself in downtown New York. I didn't want to get on and like, whoosh, I'm off to Manhattan. I don't want to go to Manhattan. I want to go to the next terminal. So I walked. Well, yeah, and by the grace of God, I mean, I don't know how this happened, but the United people put TSA pre-check on my ticket from EWR, better known as Hellhole, to Columbus, Ohio, CMH. And it did help. I mean, it made it, I mean, but it did, what it didn't do, what it did not do was it did not make these people, people who are, putatively our employees, i.e., me and other U.S. citizens, our employees, get rid of the tude, as in attitude. Get rid of the, layabout, sit with their guts hanging out and just being shiftless and not moving. It, no, none of the TSA pre-check made these individuals actually act like they gave a damn about their job and they cared about the people who they are trying to serve. Oh, no, 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 no. This is the federal government. This is Newark, New Jersey. This is the East Coast of the United States. This is the first time, I'll tell you. I've done 13 flights now under the new magic regime since these guys blew up these towers. Uh, uh, okay, fine. I just my neck. I feel like my neck's about ready to die right now. But that's okay. Anyway. Yeah, well, enough of that. Well, anyway, so the good Liz, God bless Liz. Liz picked me up last night at the airport, and without having to go through a little bit of back and forthing about how I could find her, she could find me, because I'm not used to where she was. I'm not used. I'm used to coming in much lower. Well, anyway, we found each other, and so I cajoled her into coming in to have some Chardonnay, to the point that she didn't have her little magic, self-carry Chardonnay glass with her. But we were out, so she got the last of the Chardonnay. So I had to go out this morning and make a Chardonnay run for Liz. So I've got 2 big 5-liter boxes for Liz. Well, not big, they're 5-liter boxes. They're no bigger than any other 5-liter box, but they're for Liz. And that'll be fun. And then she called Henry, and Henry came over. They brought some Chinese food, so we had some stuff. So we shot the breeze for a while, and it was great. It was great. I mean, what a wonderful gift to have a neighbor like Liz to come and pick you up at the airport. And, which, by the way, I would gladly do for her. Just give me a day's notice. I would gladly alter my entire way of life for her. For that day anyway. Be nice if it were morning flight or noon flight. Well, you're reasonable about these kinds of things. God bless us all. So this morning, I plowed my way through a bunch of emails. I still didn't do the prayer list, and I think it's probably just as well I didn't, because this one woman is having hourly changes in her status. So I'll wait till things settle out. I mean, well, it's 18 days yet. I could, we'll see. I try to put out a monthly prayer list. And I do daily updates. Well, I do updates as they happen. So people who are actively engaged in this are aware of it. So. Okay. I just had a few bites of the leftover Chinese food from last night, but not a complete thing. I was just kind of like taking the edge off here while but because I got some medicines that have to get in before I put food out on top of me. It's just better that than not being able to have medicines go down at all. I well, I was thinking about the time in Australia. The time in Australia right now is, it's 7:25 here, so it's 10:25 in the morning tomorrow in Australia. Uh, I mean, I have an additional 5-hour difference to try to think about. It doesn't come into play very often, but it's always nice to know. I mean, I don't want to get sieged with the idea to talk to this guy or contact this guy and, screw up his work or some evening where he might be, being seen by people. Who's that? Well, it's my mate from the United States. Wouldn't that be an easy way to just, it's my mate from the United States? And here we're bad. As my friend Tony pointed out to me, or sort of has implied to me, he'll deny it, of course, because, he'll say I'm putting words into his mouth. But, seeing that he counted the number of references I made to Sam in one of my videos, I think he's got, nearly as much of an obsession about Sam. Shit, I'm sorry. This man from Australia as I do. And sorry about that, guy. Oh, yeah. Fact of the matter is, that's just the way it is. And good grief. It's amazing what people get concerned about. I'm not talking about you down under. I'm talking about, well, just people in general. Speaking of which, my son's dog has decided not to die right away. So being managed very nicely on some tramadol, which has made my grandson happy, so he didn't have to see the only dog he's ever known in his life die. Yeah. 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 Well, that's just a bastard, That's just a rough way to. Well, that's just part of loving a dog. When you love a dog, they're gonna die. Part of loving a dog or anybody is any entity, any living entities, they're gonna die, and that's part of loving them. So I got actually the two people that had actually called me while I was over in the United Kingdom called me today. My good friend Mike called me. We talked. Gosh, of course, once we get talking, we get talking. We talked for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Didn't end up going down the spiral staircase to the bottom garden of horse shit, which often happens with him. And then my ex-wife called me. God bless her. She's my ex-wife, but not for a lot of the reasons that most people she's not like someone would go into a restaurant and see somebody and say to themselves, "Oh, she's got first wife written all over her." No, I mean it's like I'm gay. I was married. What a lie. What a bunch of bullshit. Got divorced. We're fine. So we the thing about Faith, God bless her, is that well, it's like a lot of women, and this is going to sound sexist and all this, but it's true. They say they want to have a conversation and listen, but do they? No. Now the thing about Faith is now she's got a little older and got a little weaker and sicker. You can kind of wait. You can kind of wait her out and have your say eventually. But we okay. Then the other thing today is I wanted to deal with some of the credit card thing because there were two things I wanted to dispute. I wanted to dispute the two things on the airline charge. Not the Premier Access because they did give me the Premier Access finally again. Okay. Then I wanted to then dispute the economy, plus seating, which they did not give me. Now it's interesting. I went through the dispute process and filled out, and then I went through it again, and then I went through materials again. After I'd already submitted, and it seems that maybe United Airlines had refunded that $99 charge. I don't know. In any case, it shouldn't make a difference. I mean, it should get straightened out. So, it did turn out that the George and Abbotsford Hotel had double charged me for the room. So I went through the contesting process for that. So I've been spending a moderate amount of time this later afternoon dealing with that. The Europe car people did clear up the the fake invoice generated from Newcastle that claimed I'd turned the car in there where I hadn't turned the car. So that got squared away. So we're kind of getting, more or less squared away here. I'm trying to think. Well, there's a whole bunch of stuff sort of lying over here that I need to maybe deal with, but I've got paperwork here and things, and and I've got my personal liability umbrella policy from the insurance, which is worth it because that's up to $2 million. So for about $233 a year, I can get $2 million liability coverage. In case some guy comes in on my place and does some idiotic thing and decides he wants to sue me for it. That's the way it is over here. I got something about my mother kept saying, "Oh my God, about this hair! Oh my God, about this hair!" All right, I think that I've got the remnant of the Chinese food here warmed up on the stove. It's good too. They call it Szechuan beef. Well, if there was any beef there, it was beef more in the idea of it than in the reality of it. Like a guy was making this dish and he says, "I'm thinking about beef. I'm going to call it Szechuan beef." That's about what it amounts to. It's good stuff otherwise, though. There's a guy, he's online. There's a guy that, well, that's another thing maybe, who knows. WhatsApp's so great because you can spy on people. Oh, I'm an inveterate voyeur. I used to take a telescope on a tripod when I would go to the hotels on the high floors in Chicago. Did I just say that? I did though, and I did use it though. I had a 40-power telescope. I'll tell you, you could see the bathroom doorknobs in these apartments if they had their drapes open. Made you really want to buy an apartment in Chicago. I'll tell you, it would have been a very moderately affordable city for me. I don't think, well, because of the gun situation, I'm not going to to it because you can't really own a gun because of their idiotic gun laws. But uh, still. All right. I think I'm going to try to at least calm down a bit. Um, Oh yeah! Oh, it was great. When I was talking to my ex-wife, i.e. Faith. Her name is Faith. God, I like that name. That's a nice Faith Ann. That's a nice name. Um, she she had never, she hadn't heard about my Australian friend. It's like how do you explain a guy who dropped by and you fell in love, fell massively in love with, and then went out to San Francisco with, 2 months later or a month and a half later, and you know basically be willing to marry him. How do you explain that to her? Well, you don't. You can't. You can't explain it to anybody. People either accept it or they don't accept it. I, I'm trying not to bother him very often or contact him. And he didn't, because he's just terrified. I don't know what he is. I wish I knew more about what goes through his head about not wanting to hear from me very often. Well, a lot of it's time difference, of course. He doesn't want to have shit dinging at him on the phone when he's at work. I understand that. That's obvious. Shit. No one wants to bother a man when they're at work. No, not at all. I told Faith that there was only two acceptable reasons for contacting me when I was at work. It's like my son had been taken to the hospital or the house had burned down. Other than that, I don't want to be bothered. No, that's my attitude toward bothering people at work. So I understand. Uh, I'm just basically just hanging around here right now because I want to keep talking to somebody because I don't have anybody really to talk with right now. But I'm going to say, bye bye YouTube.